Well, hello there, Internet. Thanks for joining me for another spray painting video. In this one, we've got Halloween, less than 2 months away, so we're going to do something a little festive. First, we're going to start by doing our placement. We're going to do this a little bit different. We're just going to go ahead, we're going to place a moon right about there. Brush it up a little bit. And I picked up some cool little wooden items that I can use as stencils. So I'm going to use that. We're going to make that kind of the focal piece of this whole painting. Okay. So as always, we start off, we just grab a color. This one I'm just going to use black. I'm just going to figure out where everything's going to be. Just like that. So we're going to go with a moon much like ours here on Earth. And the way we do that is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight this with a little bit of white first. The reason we do that is it's going to make it a little more silvery. You'll see in just a moment. And then I'm going to take a little cup or whatever you have handy. I'm just going to take my black paint, put it right into the cup. Just like that. We're just going to drip it right onto the painting. Because when you're doing a moon or something like that, you kind of want that globby look for the craters. So we're just going to keep putting paint in there and adding dots of paint. So what I do like to do after that is I'll take white, just kind of go right over it a little bit. Let me take a little bit of newspaper, just like so. We just pat it right in there. And you kind of rinse and repeat as needed. So now what I like to do is sometimes I'll flip them over like this to kind of double up my craters. I'll pull it off. That's coming along okay. I'm going to go ahead and give that an upper coat of white. And see how it's kind of silvering in the black a little bit? I think that'll work pretty well, just like that. So as always, we're going to go ahead, we're going to give it a little bit of shadow right in here. Just like that. A little bit of shadow. And give it a little bit of shine just across the top here. Won't be that noticeable, but that's okay. Next step is I'm going to go ahead with the truck right here. I'm going to do a couple things for the truck. We're going to go ahead with our black, just like this. It kind of gives us our shape of the truck. And now all we have to do is wait for this to dry. The first step on this one, this is the short one this time. But I'll be back once this all dries, and I'll show you the next step. And I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so we went ahead and we let this all dry out. And the next step, we're going to go ahead and cover everything back up. Make sure this moon gets put on here just right. Just like that. And then we're going to grab our truck and put our truck right back. Right onto the black right here. It's going to kind of be a shadow of the truck, so it's not going to be the whole thing. So first thing I'm going to do, that is wanting to lift up on the edges a little bit, so we're going to grab a couple other heavier cans. I'm just going to go ahead and use these to weight this down. Hopefully it doesn't block you out too much while I'm doing this. Yeah, it's going to block you out pretty well. So instead, what I'll do is I've got a little cup of rocks here. I like to keep some rocks handy because sometimes you do have to keep some things weighted down. And we'll just weight this down with some rocks I've used over time. And that'll work just fine. So, easy enough to find some rocks. Just kind of go outside and find them, right? And here we go. We'll just weight that all down, like so. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some Midnight Blue. Again, this is a Rust-Oleum color. We're just going to cover everything in Midnight Blue. I'm not going to be using any black in the sky this time around. I'm going to get the window there. The reason I'm not going to use black is I want the truck to pop a little bit better. You get the right around the edges of the truck. Just like that. Then I'm going to take some rustic orange right here, another Rust-Oleum color. We're just going to hit the pumpkins, just like that, right? Hitting the pumpkins. So that way, those little holes in my wooden stencil here will pop right through. And we can go back in with our midnight blue and touch up the windows here. So I'm going to let this dry again. But before I do that, I'm actually going here with some navy blue. Get some gloss navy here. Some gloss. I'm going to make it so this is just a bit of a different shade here on the window and the door outlines. Just like that. And it'll look a little bit different once we remove everything. So we're going to let this set up a little bit before I go too far with that. So this one's going to have a lot more stopping and going with the different drying steps, just so I can make sure that everything sticks the way we want it to. We don't overspray anything. Make sure I didn't miss anything there. There we go. And we'll resume the video here once this all dries. So next step here is we're going to let this all dry. Okay, I let this dry a little bit, and I went ahead and did, and I covered up the windows and the holes in the pumpkins on the truck here with just some newspaper. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to touch all this up. We're going to go right back in there with our midnight blue. Right there. Right back in there. And we're just going to hit anything that's supposed to be this color and currently isn't. I'm just going to kind of fan it right in there. Short controlled bursts. There we go. This next thing I'm going to do, while we still have this all on here, I'm going to go back in there with our black. And we're going to use a straight edge. So we're just going to use this good old straight edge. We used this in the last video. We're just going to kind of paint in our road a little bit here. I'm just going to go right below the edge of the wheels there. Just like that. And we're just like that. And it gives us just a little bit of surface to work with on that. Before I remove this, I'm going to take some of our harvest peach. I'm going to go ahead and shake this up a little bit. With the harvest peach right there, we're just going to put it right there, right about where the headlights would be. And sure it's right. Just give it a quick, just a little bit of start there. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go in with our white. We're going to give ourselves some stars first, and this is regular white. We're going to spray just some onto my glove. Let's give it some flicks. Let's get our stars in there. There we go. A little goes a long way, and you can always add a little bit more. There we go. There's our first layer of stars. The next thing I'm going to grab, I'm going to go in and grab our harvest orange one more time. We're already using this. We're going to use it a couple times here. We're just going to give ourselves some space gas, just coming around. And just give it a couple right there, just like that. All right, and then we're going to go ahead back in there with our satin sea glass. I do like using this greenish color. I don't know why. It's just the color I like to use. Just like that. And we'll touch that up right there with that orange. I think that's going to stick out a little bit better than the sea glass. Yeah. Then we're going to go right back in with our white. Spray again all right onto my glove. Just flick it right in there to get it on top of that. Some more flicks. Just like that. So we have a couple different layers of stars here that we're working with. And the last thing, as you know, I like to go back in here with our glitter paint. We're just going to Give us a quick couple shots of the glitter, just to make it pop a little bit better. And then we have a shadow right here. I'm trying to give our moon a little bit of shadow, or a little bit of shine, I should say, right here. Just like that. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to reveal this. I'm actually okay with a little bit of glitter on the road. That's okay. So there's our moon. Looking pretty good if I say so, huh? We're going to go ahead, we're going to remove our rocks first. I usually keep these in a can, but I can put that in the can later. And then we're just going to very carefully pick up the truck. Like so. There we go. That did run a little bit, but that's okay. We can fix that with just a little bit of paint and a brush. So I'm going to go in with our black. We're going to touch this up with just a little bit of black. Might even be able to pick up some of it with a little bit of newspaper. Let's try that first. It worked a little bit. I'm just going to try to remove a little bit more of that paint. Just like that. Alright, so I'm going to go in here with our black and touch that up. Brush. I'm just spraying in that same cup we used for the moon. I'm just blacken up a brush a little bit. We're just gonna go just right in here and right here. Once we cover this up with some clear coat, it'll look just fine. We'll touch up the little edges here. Some of them didn't come out exactly perfect, but that's okay. We got some brushes we can fix that with. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go back in there with our Harvest Peach, right where we did our headlights. I'm going to do it one more time. Right there. So we're directly on the paint. We're just like that. So now we got our headlights shining there. I'm going to take another paintbrush. Let me grab one from the bag here. I'm going to take some apple red right there. Another Rust-Oleum color. Just spray it. Just like that. Into a bowl. We're going to give ourselves some tail-light action right over here. Just a quick, some taillights. Doesn't need to be too bright, doesn't need to be too much. Just a little bit of taillights right there. That'll work just fine. Don't need a lot on that. And it is fall season, so we're going to go in there. We're going to take a bowl like this one. I'll set it up right here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So we already got a little bit of red in there. We're going to go ahead back in there with that rustic orange. Ooh, this cap is unhappy with me. We'll go ahead and we're going to replace that. But I'll do that off camera. You don't need to worry about that. And you know what? We're going with that Harvest Peach too. It's a good combo of colors right there. I'm going to take a little section of sponge. We're just going to give it a little bit of ground clutter right on the bottom of the page. We're not going to go too nutso with that. Just dab into all those colors. And make sure you don't have too much. You can dab on the size of a bowl or a piece of paper. We're just going to... If you think it's too bright, you can always go in with one of your darker colors like your navy or your midnight blue or your black. You can just touch that in right like that. Just to kind of mix it in a little bit. Then we can kind of darken it up a little bit. So I'm just going to keep painting that on in there, just like that. That way it comes through like fall colors right there around the truck. We're going to do it right around the wheels too, like that. Keep adding paint with our sponge. Kind of give it a ground effect a little bit. It's going to be a pretty quick video. I'm going to do a whole bunch more of the Halloween stuff. I picked up a whole bunch of stencils. I'll give you a little bit of preview before I stop filming this afternoon, just so you can see some of the stuff I'm going to work with. We're going to add a little bit more color to this bowl. I'm going to write back in there with that red. I like the red on there. I think that's a good touch. We'll grab our orange. I'm going to steal a cap from another paint for now. And one more time with our peach. And just a little bit more with our blue color right on top. Okay, I'm going to go right back in, kind of mixing up a little bit. We're just going to keep dabbing right on in there. Ah, perfect. I like it. Just dab it on in there just like that. I'm also working on an Etsy shop to sell some of these paintings. I do have a pretty big collection of ones I've done off camera before I ever started filming, and some since then. It'll also give you a shot to see some of the older stuff I've done, to see how my skills have come along. Got a little bit more red. I'm feeling that red down there. I like it. A little bit more red on there. Just a little more red over here. We can just spread it right on that. There we go. I think next thing I will do, though, is we'll go with a little bit of... maybe no, you know what? I was going to do a tree, but I like this the way it's come out. I do like this the way it is. Sometimes less is more. And there's that piece right there. So I'm going to go ahead in the back of the paintbrush. I'm going to go ahead and give it my little signature right here. Now I just got to hit it with some clear coat. Give that clear coat a good shake up. And right there. I did tape down the corners this time, so that way it didn't keep moving on you. You can see what I'm doing. I really enjoy Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. It's a great time of year. It's not too hot, not too cold up here in New England. It really is the perfect time of year for us. And there we go. Just finish this up with some clear. And as you can see, those spots I did the touch up on, they're barely noticeable now. But there you have it. The first fall piece I've done. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like it. I'll take a couple pictures so that way you can see it at the end of this video. If you like what you see, please hit that like button and give me a follow, and I'll be back at you probably tomorrow with one more painting before the work week starts. Thanks a lot for joining me, and we'll see you in the next one.